Bombay, the second largest city in India and one of the most important seaports in the Eastern Hemisphere, is approached from the sea by way of an imposing arch that is known as the Gateway to India. The Taj Mahal Hotel is one of the most famous hostelries that dot the lanes of world travel and provide an international rendezvous for globetrotters. It looks to the sea for its patronage, and it depends so much on foreign trade that it has become somewhat foreign itself. As a matter of fact, at first sight, Bombay is apt to give one the impression of an Occidental metropolis, with all the trimmings and trappings of the 20th century. But this is only a foreign veneer, and behind it all is the real Bombay, with its teeming masses and customs that defy the innovations of Western civilization. The predominating religion of India is Hinduism, and its preservation depends upon the age-old system of caste, which determines at birth the way of life for its millions of followers. There are four main castes, ranging from the Brahmins at the top to the Sudras at the bottom. Beyond the exclusive circles of the castes are the outcasts, or Untouchables, comprising over a fourth of the Hindu population, and it is they who do most of the manual work, including drudgery in its crudest form, the women of this class being the hardest workers. In this instance, the tempo of the toilers is determined by a drummer who claims he can estimate within a few hours the time required to erect a building. Contempt with which the members of the other castes, particularly the Brahmins, treat these unfortunate outcasts is carried to such extremes that in many places their presence or even their footprints are considered sufficient to defile a whole neighborhood. Without them, the other castes could not exist, yet they live in hopeless poverty and dare not aspire beyond the lowly boundaries of their unfortunate position. The byplay that goes on in a typical native market is extremely interesting if one is quick enough to discern it. Each caste patronizes its fellow members with an intricate system of formalities beyond the understanding of the Occidental mind, yet quite essential in the consummation of trade, whether it be elephants or oranges. For example, note the handshake under the towel, which may or may not guarantee a square deal. Apart from the mainland, but within the boundaries of Bombay, there is a little fishing village that was once a Portuguese possession, and it is one of the few communities in India where native life seems to be immune from the more troublesome restraints of caste. For here, the influence of the sea has helped to mold a more wholesome conception of religion and a less complicated system of living. The women of the village are chiefly engaged in cleaning and drying the fish that are caught by the men, a particular species of fish which is first salted and laid out in the sun, after which it is swept about until sufficiently dried. Then it is sent to market to be sold chiefly as an ingredient for Indian curry. This simple manner of living harmonizes with Hinduism in its most exalted form, since it teaches that man and woman, living and working equally together, make the perfect human being, to whose guardianship is entrusted the immortality of the race. They reason that outside of marriage there should be no sex, and not to marry is willfully to murder the possibility of life. Hindu girls are sometimes married at the age of 10 years, and it would be most unusual if the bonds of matrimony did not encircle them before their 16th year. To them, marriage is a solemn religious duty, and divorce is unknown, the underlying theory being that before God, the male and female form together the perfect human being. Therefore, neither can really worship apart from the other. It was this belief that once prompted Hindu widows to throw themselves upon the funeral pyres of their husbands. But thanks to British influence, this is no longer practiced within the law. The anticipation of a better life after death makes a Hindu funeral an occasion of spiritual joy rather than sorrow. As a matter of fact, the holidays in this village are marked by the number of funerals. On this occasion, the entire population has turned out to escort the body of a young bride to the burning ghats, where, according to their belief, the flames will consume her mortal remains, and dispatch her spirit to a better world. In extreme contrast to all this is the famous racetrack at Bombay, where life takes on a gayer mood and the lure of the turf brings all classes together on common ground. For here are assembled representatives of practically every color and creed in the world. The track itself is considered to be the most picturesque, if not the finest, in the Orient. And now they're off. Aside from the horse racing, it would still be worth a visit here to see the motley array of types in variegated costumes moving about the lawns, chatting in a babble of tongues, and vainly displaying wearing apparel from the smartest shops of the Orient, as well as the Occident. The colorful saris worn by the Indian women stand out in marked contrast to all the others. We doubt that there is a racetrack in the world that attracts a more interesting conglomeration of humanity than what is to be seen here, where old Mother India, in a rare but happy mood, momentarily at least, lets down the sinister bars of caste and gives us a more desirable impression to take with us, as we most reluctantly say, farewell to Bombay, the gateway to India.